Alright, so fun stuff today. Now we actually get to start working on the actual swap. So yesterday I cleaned up the engine bay, got all the grease off there, all the grease off the frame. It's all stripped. And earlier today I separated the engine from the trans, so now we got the truck transmission up on the table. I've pulled off the front seal cover. So now I'm going to separate this bell housing from this case, and then we're going to use this bell housing off of an FC. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna drag this one over there now. The more you dig, the more it comes apart. You gotta take it apart enough to put it back together. So now I got the whole front end off, but I have the 13B in there. I am dreaming up some motor mounts. I'm going to get a 12A front cover and then hopefully make that motor mount come off the front cover and meet over here with the truck's original engine mounts. I have the transmission up in there with the cross member, but as you can see, that's not the shifter. The shifter's back there. So next I'm going to pull the drivetrain back out of here. I'm going to take this off and shorten the shafts and move it forward to hit this hole. That way we can maintain the original shifter location and the bench seat. So that's next. Pull it back out of there and take the tail shaft off the transmission. So now that means, what? The engine is in the truck. I have made a mount that comes off the front cover. I got a front cover from a 12A now. So the engine's sitting in there under its own weight. We got our exhaust flange. So I'm gonna be mocking up the headers and start cutting away at it. So that's super cool. The interior is pretty much done. I got so I have the FC transmission with the truck tail shaft mated together, and I got everything aligned under the truck so the shifter drops in the stock hole. I raised it up about 1.5 inches to get my engine level in the truck, so the shifter's gonna sit about 1.5 inches taller. So I may or may not go with the car shifter. This one might be a little tall for my liking, but we'll get some new boots in there and drive it around and see how we like it. So that's super exciting. So we'll crawl under here. So I'm gonna get an oil pan for an early 13B. It should help my 12A front cover. That'll all work. So we got plenty of space to run the exhaust headers through here. On the factory exhaust, is on the driver's side of the truck. That's not going to fly, so I'm going to pull this out of here and run the exhaust down this side of the truck. And since my drive shaft has a carrier bearing, I'm going to route the exhaust right under the carrier bearing before the drive shaft dips down to avoid the gas tank, and then finish it out down that side all the way out the back. So today we got some new parts to play with. I'm super excited. We got a couple things. I got a new oil pan. I bought this one through Racing Beat. So since I put the 13B in the truck with the 12A front cover, this is a GSL SE oil pan. So it was that weird crossover transition where they're putting 13Bs in the first gen FB RX7s. So they still make the oil pans, so the swaps can happen. So this oil pan bolts up. I've already fitted it a few times and playing with the steering. But besides the steering, we'll get to that. I got new exhaust, so I decided to go with Vibrant Performance. Got me a beautiful stainless resonator. But what I'm more excited about is this fancy muffler. Oh man. So I go with a powder coated black muffler. So I got the 3-inch tip, 2.5-inch exhaust, free flowing muffler, pre-silencer. That should make the truck pretty quiet. So, and I also picked up some more tubing. So, and then here's what's left of my Racing Beat header kit. This will eventually become the U pipe, or the Y pipe, and currently got those tacked in there, and so they're shooting out the back. I'm gonna go into 2.5-inch all the way out the back, and yeah. So we'll get moving on that some more. Alrighty, so I got the header here. These are pre-bent tubes from Racing Beat. Got the cool Racing Beat flange. So what I'm gonna do now is make my Y pipe to connect these together out of my U-bend. So came with the kit, so we're gonna use it, connect them together. Alrighty, after a couple hours of grinding and cutting and cutting and grinding, I kind of got one pipe done. I can't wait for all the right tools. I tried to use my buddy's bandsaw here. Did not cut straight worth shit, so I reverted back to the good old handsaw and angle grinder and other angle grinder, and so yeah, I cut it with that bandsaw and it did not cut straight, so I welded it back up. So this is the first slice I got. Did that with the handsaw, got it lined up, and so I cut the U-pipe, just the ends off of it. And then so this one will fit right here, and it'll fit up next to it once I cut the fun slice out of this one. So yeah, doing it a little bit by hand, but it'll be good. So these headers will be fantastic, and then I'll get some actual welds on here and grind and port match these once they're all grinded, and yeah, so making progress. I'm gonna go home. It's been a day. Today, working on the steering, I threw the oil pan up in there, and the steering connecting rod from left to right is totally in the way of the oil pan, And unless I wanted to move the engine, which I don't really want to undo everything I've already done, I'm going to modify that arm. So steering box in the truck sits over here. I thought this would be more of a bolt-in thing, but that arm runs right under the oil pan, like right where the fill comes out. So there's no smashing, denting the oil pan to make that work. Plus I have a brand new oil pan, don't really want to do that. So I got the whole thing out of here. I got some toasty ball joints, so I'm gonna replace those. So what I'm gonna do is, this rod is in the way. So the steering arm goes right here. These are my ball joints that go to the wheels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it 1.5 inches this way. So I'm going to cut it on either end, use this bar stock to make it come out at an angle, and then connect back. So I got it screwed down to this piece of wood so I can hold everything nice and straight and in a line. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So I was really hoping this swap was gonna be more of a drop-in thing, but it ends up being a lot more fabricating because I'm particular about certain things and stuff. So the engine mounts are in there. You know, things aren't going anywhere. And what's super cool is my transmission crossmember lines up in the back under the truck. The shifter position is just perfect right in the center here. I ended up raising the transmission, so the shifter be a little bit taller, but it's still not even close to the dash, so it's fine. So yeah. Anyways, let's get to it. Stay tuned for brap noises.